use your brain. Be a doctor, be a lawyer, carry a leather briefcase. Forget about sports as a profession. Sports make you run and smell. See, be a thinker, not a stinker.
Okay,
Watch Joe's Metal Mancave vlog.
Welcome back to Joe's Metal Mancave vlog. Today we're going to do an 80s heavy metal favorites video. Lately I've just been listening to a lot of 80s heavy metal, if I gotta be honest with you guys. I think it's a combination of just, you know, the good vibes of summer, the longer days, and probably from binge watching Chromium Dioxide episodes on YouTube just recently, the past several weeks. And yeah, it's just the fact that I have never really talked about straightforward heavy metal here on the channel yet. So what the hell, I started a new series. My criteria for this video is just straightforward heavy metal, but also just vinyl, because it's just, I don't know, I can't, you know, explain it, but maybe you know, like, there's something about listening to old 80s metal on vinyl that just, it's special. It's so different from listening to something on a cassette or CD or just nostalgia, I guess, for me, really. So, I mean, this should be a fun video, and I hope you guys enjoy. So, 80s heavy metal favorites here on Joe's Metal Mancave Vlog! Alright, to kick things off, we're going to talk about a band that I first came across about 10 years ago, and it was interesting to find because I literally never heard of the band before, and I heard about the band from a guy who just didn't exactly strike me as being a heavy metal guy, and that was what made it kind of interesting. He was just kind of like a sort of just hipsterish dude, and then he's telling me about this band. He's like, you gotta check this out, and then I just randomly bought this album off of eBay for like $5 or $6 back then, and I was absolutely blown away by how goddamn good this is. So the band in question here is Tokyo Blade and their album Night of the Blade. So originally released in 1984, this is sort of a mixture of new wave of British heavy metal, Iron Maiden with sort of a glamish kind of feel to it. I think it's perhaps more in the lyrics than the actual like feel of the music, but maybe it's there a little bit. I don't know. It just, the big, you know, Iron Maiden-esque guitars are there. The solos are really great riffs. The powerful vocals. It is just a superb album. This has become, I guess I could say, one of my favorite albums to listen to when I've been drinking for a while. It's great. I absolutely love it. And these guys are really kind of an underrated in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, man, if you love Iron Maiden or just anything like that, I think you'd really dig this. You know, as I said, there's a little bit of a glam thing there. Basically, the lyrics kind of center around, like, you know, like glam topics like love and stuff like that. And there's just, you know, typical rock and roll lyrics. And there's, you know, lyrics that are more centered around, like, Japanese stuff, like, you know, samurais and stuff like that. It's fucking awesome, man. There's sort of an epicness to the, you know, Warrior of the Rising Sun song, and it's just awesome, and I love this stuff. This album has an interesting kind of tale to go with it too. Originally, the vocals were recorded by their original vocalist, Alan Marsh, but then, I guess shortly after that happened, he left the band, and this guy named Vic Wright stepped in, and he recorded the vocals. But, for some reason, the band didn't take out Alan Marsh's backing vocals, so you basically have both vocals on this album, even though just Vic Wright is credited. So, interesting album, but just great stuff, man. Just great headbang, fist pumping stuff. I love this stuff. Oh, man, great album. So, yeah, Tokyo Blade, Night of the Blade. Alright, continuing on, we're going to talk about a band that I've probably legitimately known since the 80s. My memories of this band, for the most part, though, date back to the late 90s, when they used to advertise like these 80s heavy metal and hard rock compilations on TV. And I have this vivid memory of just seeing, well, the band in question here is Accept and their album's Balls to the Wall. And in that commercial, they showed a clip from the video of Udo Dirkschneider going through the wall on the wrecking ball. And I just thinking back then, like, what the fuck is this? This is hilarious, man. But I like the song, but I never really, went forward and jumped on it. I was like, it's corny. And then I looked at the album cover and I was like, what the fuck? That's really gay. So I never bought it. And then it was probably 8 or 9 years ago, we used to have, actually probably more than that, probably 10 years ago, we used to have a heavy metal-ish bar around here that had Metal Mondays, and the guy used to DJ over there. He played the song Losing More Than You Ever Had, and I was like, who is this? And he's like, it's Accept, dude. And I that very next day, I bought it off eBay for like $8 or something like that, and I absolutely loved it, man. There's just so many good songs on this album. I mean, the title track, Balls to the Wall, is decent, but it's a single. It's probably their most popular song, but it's not really the best song on the album, if I gotta be honest with you. But other songs like London Leather Boys, Fight It Back, Love Child, Losers and Winners, and Winter Dreams, just great songs. But man, Losing More Than You've Ever Had since I bought this album, has honestly become like one of my favorite songs from the 80s. Just so damn good, man. So there's the album cover. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, totally homoerotic stuff. And then, there's some more hands and balls and lyrics. And then you open this up and you're like, whoa, shirtless, super sexy Germans, man. Why is this not on my wall? Oh, me oh my. Well, that's Accept, Balls to the Walls. If you've not heard it, definitely check it out. Great album. Yeah, just fucking great stuff. I mean, classic heavy metal. I mean, yeah, Udo's sort of Bon Scott-esque vocals may be a tough sell on some people, but I love it, and I couldn't imagine this music with any other vocal style. So yeah, Accept, Balls to the Wall. Alright, we're continuing on. The next album is an album I think is very dividing in the metal scene and this band's discography in general, but oh man, I absolutely love this album. The album in question is Judas Priest Turbo. So it's another album I bought about 10 years ago and just instantly upon getting it, I loved it. But it's a very cheesy, very hokey, and very homoerotic album, I guess. But I find it all very endearing, and it's the kind of album where you have to have a couple beers in you, or whatever else you want to do. It's not a very just straightforward album. You have to it's a party album, and it sort of has the arena rock that Judas Priest started in the early 80s kind of mixed in with something of a glam sentiment too, and it's Judas Priest through and through. It is a great album, man. I absolutely love it. I mean, Turbo Lover is a great classic music video for that. It's super hokey, but man, just everything about it, man. Locked In is a great song. Rock You All Around the World. It's just fun, catchy, corny stuff. It's great, man. What else? Wild Nights, Hot, Crazy Days. I mean, Hot for Love, Reckless. It's a great album, man. Why don't people like this more? I don't know, man. But yeah, I mean, worth noting, the price I paid for this back then. Look at that, only $4. I mean, now the same record and probably just a beat up condition this one will go on Discogs for $20-$30, and I mean, it's unbelievable, man. I really regret the fact that I didn't just go crazy buying old 80s heavy metal and hard rock stuff back in the day when I had the chance, but it is what it is, So, yeah, there's a little insert for this one as well, and with lyrics and black and white version of the album cover, and then yeah, that's it. But yeah, Turbo, great album, man. I don't know. I think it's maybe perhaps because it's kind of sandwiched between two other kind of classic Judas Priest albums. I mean, you got Defenders of the Faith on the low end, and you got Ram It Down on the other end, and it seems like those albums have always had more fanfare than this one. I don't know, but it's corny, but I love it, and like I said, it definitely will help to enjoy this album if you're a little intoxicated while listening to it, but goddamn, man, great stuff. Locked Inside the Night! Alright, another band and album that I have just literally known about forever, but again, it wasn't until about probably 10 years ago when I picked this album out, and I was just like, god damn, man, how did I overlook this band for so long? So, the album here in question is Twisted Sister and Stay Hungry. Oh man, so Twisted Sister to me for, I guess, my childhood and teen years was just the corny band that wrote that kind of corny song in the music video for We're Not Gonna Take It. I never really liked that song. In fact, it's probably the worst song on this album, but for years it was the only song I knew. And then, and this is gonna sound really awkward, but back in 2001, Dimmu Borgir did a cover of Burn in Hell, and then I was like, well, Twisted, this kind of sounds cool. And then I went back to that song, I was like, well, that song's kind of cool. But then, yeah, it wasn't until like another 10 years later that I picked up a copy of this, and I was just blown away, man. The title track, Stay Hungry, is just an awesome, powerful anthem, but other songs like I Wanna Rock, I mean, another one I knew since like childhood, but goddamn, what a great song. The Price is really good, kind of a little more chiller song, but goddamn good, man. The Beast, oh man, just great songs, man. But yeah, I think it was just, you know, the image sort of was corny, I thought, back then or something like that. I don't know, but god damn, man, great record. So in the insert you get a little more lyrics, some more lyrics. Next side too are pictures of the band all decked out in their gear. You know, we got members here, Dee Snider, of course, JJ French, Eddie Fingers Ojeda, Mark the Animal Mendoza, and AJ Perro. Just killer line. This is a great album, man. If you somehow overlooked this album, definitely give it a shot, man. I mean, this is just great classic heavy metal. It's very, very best. You know, Twisted Sister, they're a band that has a kind of an interesting history. It goes all the way back to like the early 70s, which I didn't know. And I just assumed like Dee Snider was like, well, the main member of the band, original member and all that, but he wasn't. He didn't join until like 1980 or something like that. And yeah, there's a really cool documentary on, or it was on like Netflix or something like that, but definitely worth looking up. Very interesting. I enjoyed it a lot, and it just made me appreciate this album even more, just knowing more intimate details about the band. This is probably the best album they put out back in the day. Maybe some people also say their first album was really good, but I don't know. I love it. Just great stuff. Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry. Up next is King Diamond's Fatal Portrait. Man, oh man, what can I say about King Diamond? I think just about everyone knows King Diamond, but for me personally, King Diamond was originally a pretty tough sell. I first heard of King Diamond back in the early 90s, and like a lot of people, I discovered them through Beavis and Butthead. The boys made fun of the video Halloween, and I was just like, what is this corny shit, man? And I just wrote them off back then as just being this, another just corny 80s metal band back then, and it wasn't until probably like the early 2000s that I saw that like King Diamond had this huge influence on just heavy metal in general, but more specifically like black metal and stuff like that, with Merciful Fate too. And I was just like, well, what the fuck, man? So I went back and revisited it, and it still took a while, but eventually it really grew on me. And as corny as this is gonna sound, the King Diamond reference in Clerks 2 also kind of sold me for a bit there too. And then a buddy of mine got really into King Diamond then too, so his getting into it really, rubbed off on me. And then I was just like, well, fuck yeah, man, King Diamond and Merciful Fate, great stuff, man. So I guess I'm a poser basically. I absolutely love it now. So this version of Fatal Portrait here, I got about 12 years ago from old manager of mine at a job I used to work at, and he sold it to me for like $5, which is awesome. And I remember back then he was like, well, it's okay sounding, but like Mikey D from Motorhead plays on it, and he's a big fan of Motorhead. It's like, so I guess it's okay. And I was like, well, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get this for you for $5, and I got that was awesome, man. I was super stoked. But yeah, a lot of people say this album isn't as good as, say, like Abigail, which came in after this album, because there's not as much as like a cohesive storyline, stuff like that. People really loved, the more storyline than the horror-themed album. I mean, it's still horror-themed, but there's not really like a prevalent story, and it goes through the whole thing or whatever. It's a little more chopped up and just each song kind of has its own thing going on, but nevertheless, really fucking good, man. Great solos from Michael Denner, Timmy Hansen's, his bass is very audible. Unfortunately, Timmy passed away a few years ago, and there's also, Andy LaRocque, just his guitars are awesome here too. Get Mikey D, and then of course the King himself, man. I mean, just great vocals. I mean, some people, again, would say his vocals got better over the years, but I don't know, man. I think it's awesome here. And I just love the photo of him on the back there. I mean, god damn, man, you just know how influential that was to black metal just a few years down the road. It's awesome, man. This particular copy that my old manager sold me has this still has to wrap on it. See, it's kind of cool. And you can see that he paid only $5.99 for it back in the day. So that's super cool, man. Yeah, man. Just great album. You know, what else can you say about King Diamond, man? He's a legend and one of the most influential, you know, musicians to ever come out of the heavy metal. Just a true king of the scene, man. I love it, man. You know, songs like The Candle, The Jonah, they're great, man. Charon, Lurking in the Dark, you know, Halloween itself, it's corny. I mean, there's a certain level of cheese here, but if you're into cheesy stuff like I am, then man, oh man, you know, I like the use of keyboards in this album too. It adds a nice atmosphere, and again, you kind of see where like a lot of the black metal bands got like their influence from. You know, it was always interesting, you know, reading interviews with like, you know, the early Norwegian black metal musicians. They were always saying stuff like Kiss and King Diamond, Merciful Fate, Alice Cooper, stuff like that. That was their influences, you know. It's really interesting, I guess, when you break it all down and see where it all came from. But yeah, Fatal Portrait by King Diamond. I mean, you know, some people again will say Abigail's the better album, and I'm definitely going to talk about Abigail on a future version of this this whole series here. But for now, King Diamond's Fatal Portrait, fuck yeah, man, great album. All right, we're continuing on, and the next band is kind of a weird one for me because I actually heard a cover of one of this band's songs years before I actually heard the original song. So the album in question here is Piledriver and their album Metal Inquisition. So the song in question here is the song Sex with Satan. About 22 years ago at least, I owned the Marduk EP Glorification, and they had a cover version of Sex with Satan on it, and I was just like, it was just a kind of like, it was different from the other Marduk stuff at the time, and I was like, this is kind of a fun, catchy, slower Marduk song. Then slowly realizing that it was actually a Piledriver cover, and then it wasn't until, I think about 9 years ago, I stumbled across this album used, and I finally heard the original song, and I was like, god damn, even the original song is really good. So, Piledriver was a Canadian sort of new wave of British heavy metal influence / speed metal band with very cheesy, very kind of ironic lyrics and stuff like that. It basically kind of makes fun of heavy metal. It's almost like a heavy metal parody at times, but it is great stuff. I mean, if you ain't a metal heavy, then you might as well be dead is one of the classic lines from the title track, and it's just, it's fun stuff. I mean, and it's, you know, again, you know, Piledriver himself was this big personality. He had the spikes, the gauntlets, and you know, just sort of, he was like the band's old mascot while being lead singer too. I really dig this stuff though. It has sort of a typical 80s metal flair to it, but it's different. And I mean, call me crazy, but I feel like there are even like some kind of proto black metal riffs in the Sex with Satan song, and a few of the other spots in this record too. It's interesting, and I know this isn't like a fan favorite necessarily, but I really dig this record. Since I've owned it, I've really enjoyed it a lot, and it's just a fun stuff. It's like I said, cheesy, you know, self-parody kind of lyrics of metal and stuff like that. But it's awesome, man. I love it, and if you never heard it, just definitely check it out. Or if you're like me, maybe you've heard that Marduk cover and you've never heard this band, so definitely look it up. So, Piledriver, Metal Inquisition. Alright, one more for this 80s heavy metal favorites video here. This is a band that I got to know back in the early 90s, once again through Beavis and Butthead. Although, like a lot of the other bands I've mentioned, I just didn't check it out back then. It's a shame. So the band in question here is Grim Reaper and their album Fear No Evil. I bought this album probably about 11 or 12 years ago, and I absolutely loved it, man. What a great album. Grim Reaper originally went from like 1982 up to I think like 1988. They released 3 albums and they were moderately successful, but it kind of flew under the radar back then. I don't think the band really had a lot of fan fame, which is a shame because it's just classic, straightforward, new wave of British heavy metal style. Huge guitars here, great powerful vocals from Steve Grimmin, and it's just fist pumping, just awesome stuff, man. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate to see Grim Reaper back in, I believe it was July of 2016, and I think it was no more than like a week or two after that when the band was touring in South America, and Steve unexpectedly had to have his leg removed due to like a viral infection or something like that, and then after that he went through a deep spell of just, anxiousness and depression, but he still kept the band going, and unfortunately, just back on August 15th, he passed away unexpectedly, and they still haven't said, how he died. It's just, me and my wife were on vacation in South Dakota, and I was like, God damn, man, that really sucks. My wife's old band, Magma Dragon, had opened up for them back in that show in 2016, and we both talked to him for a little while. He was a really nice, great guy. I mean, he's just really down to earth, just really appreciate his fans. It's just, what a shame, I mean, yeah, he did live for over 60 years, but still, I mean, he had a lot more to give to life and just heavy metal in general. But anyway, back to the album, great stuff here. I love it. Fear No Evil, Lord of Darkness, Your Living Hell, Lay It On the Line, just great songs. And then, of course, the much more peculiar Final Scream's a really good song too. I love it. It is a great album. Grim Reaper is somewhat more known for their debut album, See You in Hell, but I definitely prefer Fear No Evil. It's just something about the songs feel a little more catchy, the guitars feel a little more stronger, just Steve's passion, the vocals just seems to shine through a little bit more in this album. I mean, you may have a different opinion, but that's what I'm going to officially say here. Anyway, Grim Reaper, great stuff. Rest in peace, Steve Grimmin. I feel so honored that I got to see you guys play back in 2016, and it's a shame, he passed away. But it's getting to that point, that a lot of these old heavy metal guys are, getting old and dying. It sucks, man. These are guys, in some cases, I've known for many, many years. I mean, it's gonna happen soon, but like Rob Halford or Ozzy, they're gonna pass away, man. It's gonna fucking suck, man. It really, even like Lemmy passed away like years ago right now. It really hit me, man. It sucks. So definitely, keep the spirit of Steve Grimmin and Grim Reaper alive by playing these great records. Grim Reaper, Fear No Evil. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining me here on Joe's Metal Man Cave Vlog. I hope you've enjoyed these 80s metal favorites, and just the start of something new here, keep it a little more diverse, Still gonna be lots of black metal here, of course, but it's okay to take breaks and, talk about some other things once in a while, and I hope you guys agree. So, if you have any 80s metal favorites, I would be delighted to hear what you guys are into. I mean, this is just part one. We're gonna do more of this down the road, of course, but hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you like. If you know these albums, would love to hear your opinions or comments on them. And other than that, I will see you next time on Joe's Metal Man Cave Vlog.